Get on to our next game here. So here we have this really awesome Capcom title called X-Men Mutant Apocalypse. Made by the same team that put together Mega Man X. You'll be able to tell that just from the sound design and sprites alone. So it's, I think, the second Capcom game released from... Sorry, second Marvel Capcom collaboration for any platform following the Punisher for the arcade, which was later ported to the Genesis. Used to run this game a lot more than I have lately, but I still run it occasionally, and the game is super good. It really is. Very execution intensive. Really cool to see, you know, one of the more popular 90s teams showcasing a game like this. So let's go ahead and get her started at 3, 2, 1, go. Zip our way past through this. So for the first 5 stages of the game, we have to play as all 5 characters that are available to us through their own stage. Like, for this stage we're doing here with LRock617, you cannot play any other character in this stage. It's cinematically set up and designed to be played by her. A couple cool things about this game. It does have some Street Fighter style inputs because that's what Capcom was doing at the time. Slide forward, knee these guys. So knee is a move you're going to see me do a lot of. It's ridiculously powerful. Does more damage than any of her attacks. Against most enemies. There are some exceptions. Move on here, past that swath. This section's a little tricky. We want to have some proper setups here. This is fine. Gotta group these guys. That's not good. That guy coming out and throwing a low is really bad for us. So is this. Ugh. Some really bad luck there. Admittedly, those guys have a pretty good amount of health against LRock617 for some reason. Normally I take the top route, but I wanted the health, so we're going to move on here. On to our first mini-boss. This guy's a bit of a jerk. Because he can do things like that. Just spawn off screen. I'm actually okay with taking this hit. Just get some iframes through there. Nice one there. Knee gets 2 hits on him if you are able to hit him in the air both times. And it does the knee damage both times, so it's really strong. You just don't want to use it unless it's going to kill him because it's ridiculously unsafe. If she lands and he hits you, like, you're just getting hit. It's that simple. Our last section before the boss. Take care of these knife guys. Unfortunate that was. Now I have to get a setup. Pretty mean. Uses superior footsies to get past me there. Alright, on to our Sentinel. This fight actually used to be super difficult, but thanks to a discovery by Stunt Coyote from I believe he found it in the task, we actually have this strat we can do, which makes it a lot easier. Sometimes he actually doesn't behave. If he decides to move to the back, which is off to the left, then you actually will miss some hits there. But got pretty lucky that time. So that's our first character-specific stage. We'll move on to Gambit from here. This is the one I just prefer to take when I route out of the game. Drop a card on everybody. Primary move you're going to see for Gambit is this M. Bison style scissor kick. It has a forward moving hitbox, and it has not only great priority, but it's also just amazing for movement. You can see it propels him super far forward. We're going to clip our way through this platform. Onto here. Alright, I'm going to be real quiet here. This section's really tough to do the way I do it. Like, punishment here results in death, so bear with me. Okay, thank goodness. That part is so terrifying. If one of those orbs were to hit me, I would be clipped and fall straight to my death, no question. This guy's coming out of the elevator. Didn't really want to hit the barrel there. Probably should have done a down slash. Took care of that guy in short order. Good section there. And of course it's a beat 'em up, so of course we're going to see elevators at some point. More of a Konami trademark than a Capcom trademark, but they found their way to do it too. They got that barrel. There actually is a strat there that we discovered about 1.5 years ago that allows you to skip every single enemy on that elevator. It's really, really hard to do. It involves you having to place the explosion from the barrel on the ground as the elevator would open. It's like both frame and pixel perfect. But it saves like 5 or 6 seconds. But doing it in an RTA run would be just mind-boggling. Yeah, right at the start of the game, the first 5 stages is just wherever order you want to go in. I just base my order on what are the most random stages for the most part. Like, LRock is probably the one stage where the most mistakes happen, both from an execution standpoint and an RNG standpoint. Good boss here from Gambit. Very, very kind from those lasers. Those lasers are pretty mean because they can spawn from any number of gun turrets on their interval. So you can have like 1 spawn, you can have none spawn, you can have all 4 spawn. Just random. But we had really, really good luck there. So this is probably my favorite stage in the run. Wolverine stage is really, really fun to do. That was unfortunate. I was trying to get a Dragon Punch. Take him out there. This stage to me feels a lot like a Ninja Gaiden stage. You're going to have a lot of climb movement here momentarily. That was not what I wanted to do. Jumped way too early. I think we should still be fine. Yeah, this climb section here is just one of my favorite things in the game. Really because I'm the one that came up with a lot of the strats for it. Zip forward. Onto our mini-boss. Not a lot of RNG to this guy. Got our perfect combo to take him down. Bust open the door. This is actually, I believe, also the shortest stage of the first 5. If you're just willing to go through the stage and not try to hunt down things like extras for extra lives or whatever. Dive onto that guy, we can just bypass him. Move on to our boss. Pretty simple boss here, actually. Just gotta make sure you can get your dives on point. You can clip him right in the chin. These guys are pretty inconsequential when you're using dive, too, which is great. Because it just clears them out. And that'll fix it up. Bathroom's on the left. Laser's not going to hit us. Alright, 3 down, 2 to go. So everybody get really used to seeing Beast. Easily the most powerful character in the game and the most overused. For good reason. Beast has a lot of really broken hit properties. Get to some of them here in a moment. First of all, Headbutt's insane. Does a lot of damage. Very unfortunate that guy decided to jump. You can also combo into Headbutt directly out of a jab. It's really strong. These guys you have to. That was unfortunate. The jab missed him. Sometimes they stay off screen out of your hitbox range. There's not really a lot you can do except let them appear again. Alright, mid-boss time. This guy's pretty random, as you can tell by the fact that he already left the screen. You never want to see him leave the screen like that, but if he does, you kind of just have to make do. Not really what I wanted. Zip forward. I tend to just go for a crouch punch on that guy because it just gets him out of my way. Hit this. You don't want to swing that too early because the one on the bottom will clip your elbow and that causes you to get knocked down. It's really bad. Bust open the wall. So here we have 3 mini sentinels. You're going to take them all out with the same combo, like so. And of course I missed the jab. Beast's jab has a really, really weird hitbox. It only hits from like his elbow and beyond. That was better. First one's always been the hardest one for me because it's on a weirdly timed interval, whereas the second 2 are very consistent. Get our air guitar pose. It's going to finish off Beast and move us on to our last stage. But unlike Beast, never get used to seeing Cyclops because not only do we never see him again, but he's also the worst character in the game. He's extremely suboptimal for a speedrun. He has really powerful optic blasts, which do a lot of damage, but unfortunately his movement is very subpar. The only thing he really has for movement is the slide, which, when you compare it to someone like Psylocke's slide, there really is no comparison. I'm actually going to need a moment here. This mid-boss is kind of tough. Got these gun bite guys. Take them out as best I can. Okay, cool. Missing those is really bad because they cause them to force another cycle. And of course you get hit. In most cases. There we go. That's the one big upside of Cyclops. The fact that you just get to cut through enemies super fast with Optic Blast is really nice. Plus it pierces, so it hits enemies behind them as well. Gonna jump these guys. Gotta time those with a knife stab, and then you get to move on. Likes A. Alright, so thing here, right, left, right. Very unfortunate he decided to jump. Actually, I think that's supposed to be right, right, left, so I guess I goofed that. Enemies jumping in this stage is really bad for Cyclops. I'm messing this all up. Should have been left, right, left. Oh well. We didn't get punished too hard. Moving on to our boss. We're going to take him out in 6 Optic Blasts. Optimal will take this thing out as quickly as possible. And I know that seems like, of course, duh, because it's a speed run, but the reason I say that is because the faster you're able to stop the train, the faster it's able to actually come to a stop for you to be able to move on. So it saves frames. You want to get those Optic Blasts cranked out as quickly as possible, which can take some practice because it is a fireball motion if you're familiar with Street Fighter. Now that we're out of the character-specific stages, we're going to move on to our first, I guess, Wily stage, which is this Brood stage. At this campground. There are 2 optimal character choices here. Wolverine is the other character choice, and the top 2 runners do use Wolverine. I'm a stickler for Psylocke because I just like to be able to slide through the stage. Wolverine's pattern is a bit tougher. His boss fight is easier, but his path through the stage is a little bit less, I guess we'll say easy. Doable, just takes a lot more practice. Whereas I'm a fan of just being able to do stuff like this. What can I say? I'm a stickler for not having to do stages. Move on to our boss, and this is where things actually get really, really hard for Psylocke. I'm gonna start with a psychic knife, I hope. Of course we didn't. Yeah, this is bad already. This is the problem with Psylocke in general. She suffers really bad from overlapping input. She has 3 moves that when you're doing the input for one, you might get one of the other 2. And you never want the other 2. Because it's only optimal to get the move that you want. But luckily we were able to finish the Queen Brood off the stage. Which is great. Because what happens with the Queen Brood is she despawns leaving the screen. And she moves really, really slow. So if she's already completely off screen, then you don't have any problems. So for the rest here, we're going to see Beast. Well, with one major exception, but we'll get to that later. Fairly short stage here. It's pretty much just a 1 section and then a boss fight. Got to take out these Fleamen. Pretty annoying, but I'm really glad it didn't start to drop bombs. This is admittedly one of the harder bosses of the game. Tusk can be a real problem, especially if you mess with the fight from the beginning. That's actually good. We wanted that for iframes. We're going to do jab headbutt until we can't anymore. Yo, that was actually perfect. Getting the headbutt and having the metal contraption fall on him to stun him actually lets you do another headbutt, and that lets you 3-cycle him. That's really, really rare, so I'm really glad that got to happen. That was really cool. Alright, on to a fairly difficult stage. Looks like a 16-bit version of Hardman's from Mega Man 3. Gonna move forward here. Admittedly, this corridor is just mostly platforming. Last stretch here. This is the hardest part. Okay, cool, we got there. You don't want to miss those headbutt inputs. Okay, on to this section here. Didn't get both of them at once, that's ideal, but that was still really good. Up this climb here, we're going to use a lot of floor sticking, or ceiling sticking I should say. Cool thing the Beast is allowed to do. For Apocalypse, this fight really comes down to whether or not you can get the 1 cycle, which is ridiculously hard, so we're probably not going to, but we're going to go for it anyway. Didn't get it at all. Admittedly, he's not dead yet, but I couldn't get any more hits out of that. He did get to do a lot of damage to us, but I'm glad he didn't do anything that wasted time. The drill is actually fine. He gets to hit you twice for a lot, but you get to retaliate right away. So for backup strats, that's actually pretty great. Take a quick little break from Beast here. This is something I just like to show off for funsies. So we have our first Danger Room encounter, this being with Omega Red. I'll let him do what he does. Teleport, hopefully right next to us. Good times. This is pixel perfect, so it's very, very difficult. I love that strat so much. The faster way to do it is with Beast, but you're also depending a lot on RNG, so for stuff like this, I just love showing off the Wolverine strat just because it's hilarious. On to our second Danger Room encounter, we're moving right back to Hank. This is actually a strat I discovered about a year and a half ago when I first picked up speedrunning. There's a way you can manipulate Juggernaut to try to grab you and not get hit at all. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Pretty specific frame window. Hey, we got it that time. Sweet. So, when you're doing the jump punch reps, after the third rep, what happens is you go into a crouch state, which is what I do, and what he'll try to do is grab you. If you're within a specific frame window, it'll work. If not, then it doesn't. We got it that time, which is great, because if you don't get it, what he does is he uppercuts you and he knocks you out of your jump, so you lose like 3 seconds or so. On to, admittedly, the hardest stage of the game. Avalon's pretty gross. That was also unfortunate that I missed that hit. Move on here through this corridor. This corridor is rough. Lots of randomness with these guys appearing. They teleport basically at will. For our mid-boss, we have Exodus. We can finish him off here with some punches. Very good one cycle there. It's ideal to be able to make sure you can pull that off. Of course. And the weird thing about Exodus is he dies at half health. So you don't even have to fight him past that. For here, we can go either the high road or the low road. I always prefer taking the high road. Just a personal preference that I've always done. That was unfortunate. You're supposed to be able to clip that from on the way down. That is also unfortunate. Might be in for a bit of bad luck here. Okay, doing that instead of relying on anything else. That's fine. It's annoying, but it's fine. Couple little mistakes there. For this, you kind of just have to get in there and go with those head stomps. You can one-cycle it. It's really hard. It takes 11 hits. Finish them off from here. Okay. Definitely had better fights, but I've certainly had worse. Sorry I hadn't explained much during there. I wanted to make sure my timing interval was correct, which it was, but I messed up the execution of it. On to our final boss in Magneto. Magneto's pretty awful. He's really random. He does a lot of things you don't want him to do, like stay invincible for most of the fight and move around like so. When he lets the shield down, you just get in with a combo like that, and you can do a pretty decent amount of damage to him. He has 2 major attacks aside from his movement. He has what we call here construction site or construction zone, and then he has this little pink orb he can shoot, which is the much easier attack to avoid. That was unfortunate. Move to this side. And wanted to get a jab in there, but I guess I missed it. Oop. Gonna be mostly just this, just avoiding what he's trying to do to me. Making sure I can hit him as much damage as I can when he lets me. Unfortunate, mistimed that. Also mistimed that. This fight can be a real bear. And that'll be 1817. Decent fight. Could have been a lot better, but her game ahead running a bit. That's actually pretty solid. Yeah, I wish there was more to say about the Magneto fight. He only has 3 things he can do, but the fact that he's invincible for 80% of what you're doing is just obnoxious. Kind of ridiculous to rough it up, but still a solid fight. Thank you so much for the GGs. Check with something real quick. Y'all get to watch this cool ending with the awesome music for a little bit. This music's so good. Basically, the X-Men getting to tell Magneto, it's like, well, your dream is dead again. Congrats on another failure where the X-Men stopped you. Such is the story of his pursuit, I suppose. Mainly, though, for anyone that hasn't played this, if they enjoyed the X-Men in the 90s, it's a very, very cool game. Well worth investing some time into to at least just beat it. It's not super difficult once you spend some time with it. You don't have to play Beast. Growing up, I actually played Wolverine for the last section, and he's respectably good as well. Psylocke, I think, has the easiest boss fight against Magneto. You can just use the knee to get past anything he would do to you, which is awesome. But admittedly, her stage is also very, very hard. Alright. Alright guys, it actually looks like there's going to be a slight change up in the schedule, so allow me to do a switch over. It's actually another game that I'm going to be able to do, because we've got a little bit ahead on time. So, bear with me, and we'll get that set up for you.